The gaming industry has been very desperate to downplay Nintendo over the past several months. Of course, they've downplayed all the major hits they've had this year, like Tamagotchi, like Pokopia, like Mario Tennis Fever. And one of the really funny things that's come up is the fact that Pokopia is the most critically acclaimed game this year. Okay, the industry had to rally to downplay it. People aren't talking about it, but the simple fact of the matter is Pokopia was a cultural phenomenon and is yet another system seller for Nintendo Switch 2. And of course, the industry can't bring themselves to face it. So, out of nowhere, they've decided to force games like Mixtape and Forza Horizon 6 into the conversation. Now, everyone's already clowning on Mixtape. You know, Mixtape, I think, is a stereotypical joke as to, like, the typical indie game slop that, like, journos love worshipping because it has no gameplay. Like, Mixtape has been getting a lot of flack for a good reason. But people forget there's, like, another side to the coin. Like, the major AAA games that the industry will glaze and will say are way better than Nintendo games, even though nobody cares about them at all. You know, I've gone to great lengths talking about how Pragmata, how Resident Evil Requiem, how, like, Soros, like, how those games aren't really big deals. But, like, now we're seeing, like, the industry just rally behind Forza Horizon 6, which honestly I think is a very clear demonstration of, like, where we're at as a community. Where, like, you know, we make fun of gun and ball gamers, right? We often make fun of, like, you know, that demographic for being casuals, for being lazy, for being stupid. But, like, we really need to throw, like, cars into the mix as well. Like, I don't know what it is about cars, but people seem to have this idea that, like, cars are somehow, like, a viable video game genre. Like, there's this weird stubborn refusal from the industry to admit that Mario Kart is by far the best racing game in the world right now. It's by far the most popular. It's by far the best selling. And like, there's this weird idea that, like, secretly there's, like, this audience of people who will, like, just eat up, like, Forza Horizon or Gran Turismo. And it's true that these games do sell a lot of units, but at the same time, are they particularly well-made, interesting games? Like, really, no. Like, they really are Madden for cars, okay? All you're doing is just driving around in some sports car across Mexico or whatever, just racing other people in other cars that you'll never drive yourself. It's like, what exactly is the point? It's like, it's basically like the sports game thing. You know, you can technically play sports in Grand Theft Auto, but it's not as good or as well thought out. So instead, you get the niche game that, like, specializes to your interest, okay? You know, Forza may be better than Grand Theft Auto, but it's not better than, like, other games on Nintendo platforms. And I think that's kind of my mindset. You know, whenever this kind of situation comes up, is that, like, what is Forza Horizon doing that deserves these scores? Like, what exactly is going on here? And the simple fact of the matter is, like, this is a series that is only glazed because it's realistic, it has cars, and it can be seen as, like, an adult game for, like, adult gamers, right? Like, that's the simple fact of the matter is that this very much is a gun and ball situation without the gun and ball stigma, like, attached to it. Like, it's about cars, which to certain people makes it seem cool and mature and sophisticated when in reality it's just not jack shit. Okay? Like, the simple fact of the matter is, like, actual video games that are made for actual video gamers should take precedence over things like this that are only popular because of, like, having cars. Okay? Like, take the cars out of Forza and what do you have exactly? Well, like, well, the game's all about the cars. That's my point, though. Like, if you took out the actual teams out of these, like, annual sports games, they would be unbelievably generic and would pale in comparison to all of the better sports games that exist. Like, the simple fact of the matter is, Mario Tennis is better than any tennis game that exists. Why? Because the developers are actually able to make the games unique, fun, and interesting. Like, the simple fact of the matter is, Forza Horizon 6 is something that can't really compete with original video games that cover like original characters that follow like, core video gaming aspects, right? Nobody plays Forza Horizon 6 for the gameplay, okay? People are only picking this up to like pretend as if they're driving around in nice cars. Like, that's all it is. You're all just LARPing. You're all just role-playing. You're all pretending like you're successful, that you can afford a car like this. Like, you are embarrassing yourselves. And this is the thing that I've been saying for a long time, and I think really should be spelled out for everybody. Like, why exactly do we have to go through this song and dance like every single time? Because that's what we're seeing every year now, is that random games like this are what like eclipses the success and popularity of something like Pokopia. Pokopia, the industry fought to keep like Pokopia from being the most critically acclaimed game of the year in March. They wanted Requiem to take it, but in the end, like, Pokopia was just way more popular and way more successful. So they had to like, give Forza like inflated scores to try and diminish Pokopia's relevancy as they gear up for Grand Theft Auto 6's release. This is a last-ditch effort to downplay Nintendo Switch 2 and Pokopia, and they're going to go to extraordinary lengths to keep this up. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep up the illusion that something like Forza Horizon 6 is like a better game than Pokopia or Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza or anything else that's coming out. Kirby Air Riders, right? Like, nobody's even going to remember Forza Horizon 6 came out like a year from now. It's just one of those games. Like, why exactly would I give a shit about this game? Is just my mentality on it. Like, I remember being shocked when I remember playing the demo station for the Xbox 360 game, and then I played the Xbox One, and it really felt like it was the exact same game. There's no innovation, there's no growth, there's no evolution. Like, you can't really grow and evolve these games, and it's so frustrating how the masses have created this illusion that something like this is like worthy of attention or praise. Like, this is something that should be disregarded by the masses, okay? If you want like an example of a good like sports game, like look at something like Tony Hawk. Look at something that like innovated, something that like, appealed to the culture and casuals alike, something that like actually grew and evolved over time. Like, the Tony Hawk games are straight up classics, and like something like Forza Horizon will never ever match that longevity or relevancy. Like, the simple fact of the matter is Forza Horizon is a complete and total joke, and people need to understand that Pokemon is far more popular than any car ever will be.